Hi, this is Vicki from Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome back to our last week of the holiday session. Can't believe it's almost over. Happy New Year. We wish you and yours well. I- We have a few more activities to explore with your little ones, and all these activities are brand new for this learning session. So let us know what you think about them from class tag or send us a text. This is activity number 13, and in your box, we've printed a 2026 calendar that has space at the top of the page uh, of every month for your child to draw a picture. These are just some samples from other kids, but calendars are such a great way to help children understand the days of the week, holidays, the names of the month, how long it is till their birthday or to a holiday. So let's take a look at what the calendar actually looks like. Each of them has a blank. Each page has a blank piece up at the top of the month, and then the calendar for that month below. A couple ideas for using this blank space. If your learner is just currently making lines, you could create some sort of outline that they can fill in with torn paper or make the lines, or maybe you could create a collage of things that you did. So, say for example, we made pasta together with tomatoes, or we played in the rain with the rain boots, or maybe we picked up a memento leaf from the park, or on a trip to 7-Eleven, we got some gum, or the neighbor gave us a rose, and we kept some of the petals. Then the calendar kind of becomes a memory album for the things that you did in February of 2026 or March or whatever. And then there are lots of different kinds of ideas, but I think it's lovely to write the important dates for your family in the calendar itself, your family's birthdays, school holidays, holidays that you support. And then finally, I think just one last thought about using this calendar for remembering is something super powerful. And uh, something called reminiscing with your child. It's important, a really valuable tool for building children's language and their social emotional skills. And I think that the best way to illustrate it is actually an example. So, reminiscing is simply just revisiting through conversation events that may have happened in the past. And if you're using your calendar to capture the year's events through pictures or collage, it's a great way to review the month or a particular day or maybe the week. And let me show you how it works. So on Tuesday, this mom took her son to the barber to have his hair cut. And at the end of the week, they looked back at the important events. This haircut was at a new shop with a new barber. And then she engages her child in this conversation with the reminiscing. So she says, we went and uh, we went to the barber, and what was the first thing that the barber did? And the child, lacking vocabulary, of course, shows her by making the buzz sound and running his hand over his head. The mother turns that into a bigger conversation. So we use the clippers. I think you liked the clippers. And you know how I think you liked it is because you were smiling. And the child goes, "They were tickling me." They were tickling. Is that how it felt? Did they feel scratchy? And the child says, "No." Well, after the clippers, what did they use then? And his child says, "The spray." Ah, yes. Why did he use the spray? And then sometimes they won't respond, so you could just fill it in. He used the spray to tidy your hair, and I noticed that you closed your eyes, and I thought, hmm, I think Jesse's feeling a little bit scared, but you didn't move or cry. So maybe you were being brave. You see, I think she took a lovely short answer and added more words, like when he did buzz, to describe the action that was happening. But she does even more than that at the very end of the event, where she actually captures this emotional content of the event itself. It was new in his reaction to the water spray, and then capturing the emotions that she saw and he felt. I think that was lovely. And then the language, even these simple things that she does, she puts the event in order. She adds her observations, which layer on top of his, and then she prompts for every action. This is an amazing example of reminiscing. Simple, but when your little one is working on words or syntax of how to describe thoughts, this provides a roadmap on how to construct a story about that event that happens. And these narrative skills are essential for reading comprehension. They provide a way to talk through emotions, a way to process them, both the good ones and the bads. I think it's a lovely thing that is a great thing to add to your toolbox of things to do with your child. And maybe the calendar is a nice way of doing that. Well, let's move on to activity 14, visual discrimination sheets. We've included 3 sheets to help your child recognize the things that are the same and the things that are different. This is an example from the first sheet. Each row on the sheet has an image at the beginning, like the one that's being marked with an arrow. The idea is to look at the pictures next to it and to find the one that looks the same. It's a great opportunity to add language and to describe the image in as much detail as you can. For example, I might say, this looks like a wrapped present. It has a bow on the top, and I can see the ribbon is wrapped around the box, both up and down. And then I would point to that. And then it's around the middle, and I would point to that. And I see that the bow has 2 loops, and I'd point those out. 1, 2, with a knot in the middle. And as we go through these things, I would describe each of the present things that are next to it in as much detail as I can so that they can see if it's the same. So pretend that the first image isn't a present, but if we look at the second one, this round thing looks like there's a ribbon around it, and it has 2 things on top as well. There are other things that have lines like the present, but honestly, there's only just the one answer. And of course, these sheets look so much better if your little one colors them for you. Well, our last activity is a game, and it's called right, left, and center. It needs to be played with at least 3 players, and in your bag, you will find 3 dice, each written them with an R, an L, and a C, and a dot. Each player gets 3 erasers, and each player gets to roll the dice. This player on this roll got an L, an R, and a C. So that means they need to pass one of the erasers to the left, do nothing for the one that has the dot. I'm sorry, and pass one of the erasers to the person on the right. When you're working with small children that don't know their left and their right, you can just say if it has an L on it, you give it to Mike. And if it has R on it, you give it to Mom. And then it's the next person's turn. So the way it works is you roll as many dice as you have chips. So if I only have 2 chips left, I only roll 2 dice. It needs to be played, obviously, with the 3 players, and each player gets the 3 erasers. If the player rolls a left, a dot, or a right, then they must pass, the chip either to the left, do nothing for the dot, and pass the chip to the right. And then it's the next person's turn. If there was a C, they would have put one of the erasers in the middle, the center, in the pot. You can roll as many dice as you have chips, and you continue until only one player has the chips itself. We hope you enjoyed the holiday box. We'd love to hear your feedback about the learning session. Be sure to post up on ClassTag.